Welcome back to Success in Mind. It has been a minute since I recorded an episode, and I have to tell you, I got stuck in my head about what to talk about in this episode because it's episode 400, which is amazing. But I got so stuck in my head about how do I make this episode special? How am I going to mark 400 episodes? That I got overwhelmed thinking about it and thinking about it. And so then I just didn't do anything. So we're not going to do anything special for episode 400. Today is just going to be a regular episode that just happens to be the 400th one. All right, let's go. Sleep is for the weak. I'll rest when I'm dead or grind while they sleep. If you are an entrepreneur, your social media feeds have been filled with these hustle culture slogans for far, far too long. And often we're conditioned to think that productivity is a linear equation. More hours equals more success. But if you're listening to this, you've probably hit the wall where the coffee isn't quite cutting it anymore, and your ideas are trapped in a thick brain fog that you can't seem to escape anymore. So today we're going to deconstruct one of the most, if not the most important tool in entrepreneurship and in high performance, and that is rest. And we're not talking about taking a vacation once in a while. We're talking about strategic recovery. Okay, let's get scientific for a second. Your brain isn't like a light switch. It's not on or off. It's more like a muscle. And when you're on, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that's responsible for logical decision making and focus, it's burning through glucose at the rate of an Olympic athlete. And if you don't replenish it, your decision fatigue will skyrocket. And decision fatigue is like when you can't make decisions anymore, or the simplest decisions become overwhelming. And suddenly your spouse asks you, "What do you want for dinner?" And you have no idea. And just trying to think about what it is you want to eat becomes an overwhelming burden, let alone like what shoes to wear or what color to buy. Okay, here is the reality check. An exhausted founder makes very expensive mistakes. So maybe you saved yourself a couple hours by skipping out on sleep, but you will spend even more time fixing the mistakes you made while you were tired. About 2 years ago, I think it was, I had brain coach Dee on the show, and she shared with us a study about what sleep actually costs us in terms of our decision making.
If you look at the studies from 1987, it was done on 2,000 soldiers, and it's very important to bring that up. The soldiers were sleeping 7 to 9 hours, and then they were taken to a shooting range after a week. Their shooting accuracy was 98%. Then they had them sleep for a week, 6 hours. I mean, not much less. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
2,000 people. Their accuracy was 64%.
Wow.
And let them sleep 5 hours. The accuracy was 42. And then under 4 hours and less got down to 28%. Now I'm going to ask you a very quick question. Would you like somebody with 28% accuracy to make decisions about your business and your life?
No, absolutely not. Now, there's a concept in physics and biology called the periodization effect. So think of a sprinter. They don't sprint for 5 miles. They'll go at 100% for about 10 seconds, and then they walk and they recover. As an entrepreneur, you're kind of like an athlete too. If you don't build in the walking periods of your training, you're just waiting for an injury to happen. Or in the case of entrepreneurship, burnout. Rest isn't just about getting your 8 hours of sleep, which is amazing, don't get me wrong. But to stay on top of your game, you need to prioritize and categorize your recovery. So I'm going to share with you 3 different types of rest that we need to be looking at. So one is passive rest. This is the basics. This is your sleep. This is where your brain's glymphatic system literally flushes out metabolic waste. And this is a newly discovered thing, which is pretty exciting. Your glymphatic system is all the metabolic waste that builds up in your brain from all the processing your brain does. and it functions at night to flush out all the neurotoxins that accumulate over the day. When you don't get sleep or you don't get enough sleep, you are essentially operating your brain on yesterday's waste. It just doesn't sound appealing. Okay, the second one is active rest. Now, this is the refuel. This is like the walk in between the sprints. It's movement. It's going for a walk without listening to a podcast. Unless you're listening to this one, then keep listening. It's a gym session where you aren't checking your emails in between sets or texting your friends. It's about moving the stress out of your physical body. So it's movement without distraction, without overwhelming your brain with other forms of input. And then the third type is the creative rest. This is the spark. Have you ever noticed how your best ideas happen in the shower? I hear this all the time from business owners, and they say, "Oh, I got this great idea in the shower." In fact, my business partner, Yahel, he has crayons that he uses in the shower. So when he gets those ideas, he can write it down on the shower walls, which I've been meaning to pick those up and I haven't yet. But it's a great, great tool. So we get those ideas in the shower because that's the default mode network, or the DMN, at work. When you stop focusing on a problem, when you're not actively involved in your work, your brain starts connecting all the dots in the background. So if you never stop focusing, you never give those dots a chance to connect. And you might find that happens like while you're out on the walk too, or while you're driving, and uh, you find you're getting all kinds of ideas or inspiration. I know some entrepreneurs who will just automatically have the recording on their phone. Like they'll be like doing an audio recording while they drive, and they just talk to themselves because they get so many great ideas that they want to capture. So these are our three different types of rest: the passive rest, the active rest, and the creative rest. Now, I want you to change the narrative when it comes to rest. Instead of feeling guilty for taking a day off and literally doing nothing, I want you to look at rest as a lead indicator for next week's revenue. High performers, they're not resting because they're finished. They rest because they're preparing. And rest is productive. So if you saw an F1 pit crew changing tires, you wouldn't yell at them, "What are you doing? Stop that. Keep driving, keep going." You understand that that stop is what makes the 200-mile-per-hour speed possible. You are the car, you're the driver, you're the pit crew, and you can't not take the pit stops. You need pit stops. And I have this conversation with my clients all the time because they feel like when they're resting, they start to feel guilty, or they're ashamed, or they start attaching meanings to it, like, I'm a lazy person, or I'm weak because I can't just keep pushing myself over and over and over every day, every minute, every hour. Rest is not weakness, my friends. Rest is productive. It's the rest that allows you to perform at your peak, at your optimal potential the rest of the time. If you don't take the rest, you're skipping the pit stops, and then that car is going to blow a tire pretty quickly. So here's what I like to do. My husband, Greg, and I, we have adopted a practice that we call Sloth Day. And I don't know where this came from. I can't remember when we started it. And I think I named it, though. I'm pretty sure Sloth Day came from me, where I decided we were just going to be sloths for a day. And you know what sloths are like? They move slowly, like extremely slowly. They are the most restful animal in the animal kingdom. And so we took a sloth day. And here's what a sloth day looks like. It is full shutdown day. We don't do anything productive except maybe work out in the morning, and we will walk our dogs throughout the day because obviously they need walks. But other than that, we are in our sweatpants. We are on the couch. We have our blankies on. We are binge watching a show or reading a book or scrolling mindlessly on our phones, or a combination of all three of those at different times of the day. We will even order in food. Like, we'll make some food, but we'll probably order in at least one meal that day. So that's one less thing we have to do. And we go full shutdown mode. No work, no cleaning, no productivity, just pure slothful rest. I don't know if slothful is actually a word, but I like it. It fits. So here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to practice a sloth day. Maybe you take 2 sloth days until you get caught up on your rest. But I'm telling you that by doing this, we have both found that we are more productive during the week. We feel better. We're more energized going back into work mode. And we don't feel like we're always skimming the edge of burnout anymore. And I know for me, as someone who lives with an autoimmune disorder, these sloth days are not only productive, they are vital for my well being. That if I don't get that day to just completely shut off, I am not okay. And for those of you who know my husband's story, he has PTSD. It is important for him to just take a day off where he's not constantly going and he can just decompress 100%. It's honestly like the best thing ever and a great way to spend the day together. And on weeks where maybe our weekend is really busy and we don't get the chance to have a sloth day, I feel the difference the following week. And I have shared this with several clients now, this sloth day. And the ones who have adopted it are really loving it too. So I think there is something to sloth days. Do it on a Saturday, a Sunday, do it on a random weekday, whenever you want to do it, but take a sloth day at least a couple times a month. Like maybe you can't do it every week yet, but maybe a couple times a month. And I know that those of you with kids, your weekends are probably full of 1,000 different activities. I know all of my friends with kids, like their weekends get full fast. So maybe in that case, you pick a weekday. I mean, could you do that? Could you put all of your work into 4 days? And could you give yourself maybe Friday off? And think about for those of you with kids, when the kids are in school and you have a full day to you, how amazing would that be? And of course, we also want to look at little pockets of time where we can take breaks. So maybe picking a hard stop time, like whether it's 7 p.m. or 5 p.m., where the computer is off, the laptop is closed, and you are not looking at your email. There's no just one more email. There's no, I will just follow up with this one more person. I'll just edit this one more video. No, no, no. There's a hard stop. My hard stop is 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's a hard stop. And well, I will say Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 is a hard stop. On Tuesdays, my husband goes out. He goes either to soccer with some friends or he's at the gym taking a special class on Tuesday nights. So when he does that, I will work a little bit later sometimes if I need some extra time to catch up. Otherwise, I'm not. So that's my flexibility time is that I'll use Tuesday evenings to kind of catch up on stuff if I need it. But my preferred on a Tuesday night is to take some alone time for me where I watch whatever I want. I eat whatever I want. I don't have to compromise with him on what we're having for dinner. I don't have to share my shows with him. I can watch the most ridiculous TV show that I want to watch because there's no one else there to have any say in it. So, you know, you figure out what works for you. This is what works for me. And then just notice how this sharpens your brain, how much more clarity you have, how better you feel during the week when you are on, that you're able to perform at a much higher level. And then let me know. Let me know how this works for you. Let me know if you're going to do a sloth day. And I'd love to hear back from you. So if you're watching on YouTube, just drop it into the comments and tell me what is one action step that you're going to take that you're going to do differently now. Or if you are listening on Spotify, leave it in the comments there. Or just send me a direct message on Instagram and let me know, what are you changing? What are you going to do differently? Thanks for joining me again this week, my friends. I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Bye for now.